Good evening. My name is Rihanna Mays, and I will be leading you in the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening to all the parents, relatives, friends, and faculty joining us this evening. On behalf of the class of 2020, I'd like to welcome everyone to our graduation ceremony. I know I speak for the rest of my classmates when I say that today is an important day, even more so when you consider the uncertain times. Although the conditions are not ideal, we thank you for being here in any way possible. For many of us, graduation comes as a relief. We're finally done with high school. We're maturing and growing into true adults. We're finally moving out into the real world and putting the skills we learned, or didn't learn, to use. We have great things ahead of us and big dreams to fulfill. On the other hand, graduation is bittersweet. It's the long-awaited ending of this chapter of our lives. As we realize this, it's hard to forget the memories we made and experiences we had throughout high school that have shaped who we are. From the long nights studying to the weeks of tests, from the pep rallies to the football games, and even the bad memories, such as the prom we never had, are moments that, although not always pleasant, were key parts of our high school experience. Today, as we think back on these moments, I ask that we don't look at graduation as an endpoint for memories, but as a starting point for new experiences. From here on out, we only have great things to achieve and wonderful places to see, and I hope we're able to carry the things we've learned from high school with us all the way. Now, please join me as we look back on some unforgettable memories from our past year.
Good evening. My name is Jalen Robinson. Today, I have the honor of providing Bastrop High School graduating class of 2020 with a few words of inspiration and encouragement. But first, I'd like to extend my thanks. I want to thank all of you who are partaking in this experience with us, Principal Broussard for the opportunity, and God, because without him, none of this would be possible, regardless of the circumstances. Speaking of the circumstances, I am sure that none of us could have envisioned that we would be in this situation at the beginning of the school year. But uncertainty is a part of the very nature of life. Sometimes things just do not go our way. Life has and will continue to supply us with unexpected situations that are simply out of our control. In acknowledgement of those facts of life, I pose to you all one question. Why worry about the things you cannot control? None of us can control the virus and make it go away with a snap of our fingers. But we all have control over ourselves. We have control over how we react and respond to adversity. We have control over our focus, our mindset, our effort, and our overall actions. Tim Tebow, Florida Gator and national champion and former NFL quarterback, once said, "Don't worry about what you can control. Our focus and energy needs to be on the things we can control. Attitude, effort, focus. These are the things we can control." Additionally, controlling those things is the avenue for self-improvement. Ask yourself, since this ordeal began, have you improved physically, mentally, spiritually, or in some capacity? This was not a time of restriction, but it should have been viewed as a time for growth. Are you coming out of quarantine better than when you went into quarantine? Regardless, life goes on. Time waits for no man. Life simply does not stop, so why should we? We graduated, did we not? This ordeal will not last forever, even though it may feel like it. And we will one day look back and say we made it through these tumultuous times. I just ask that when you encounter a situation that is out of your control, just make sure that you yourself are in control, and everything else will handle itself. You may ask, well, if I don't worry about these things, then who will? How can things simply just resolve themselves? Well, I leave you with the words of Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer. He said, "Pray and let God worry." Thank you, and God bless.
Good evening, friends, families, teachers, staff, and the graduating class of 2020. I am Kay Abbott, and I'm your salutatorian. Even though the way that we're graduating is not how we envisioned it, this has got to make us one of the most memorable classes by far, while also providing us a valuable lesson. Seize the moment. Now, this might be cheesy and overdone, but with what is going on around the world today, it should just mean that much more to each and every one of you. Moments and events that others have taken for granted for years on end suddenly become something we cannot partake in. No prom, no proper walk across the stage. This doesn't make our time here worth any less. In fact, you should come out of this hungry to replace those moments with other unforgettable moments. Seize the moment because we will not be guaranteed later or tomorrow. Hug your friends and laugh as much as you need to. Seize the moments that take your breath away and those moments that tear you apart, for these are the times that build us. Life is not always going to be what we want it to be, but we have to make the best of whatever we have. Class of 2020, what is happening before you is still as symbolic as you walking across the stage. Seize this moment to know that you have come so far and defied the odds. What you feel in your chest right now is a heartbeat, and that's enough to give you millions of possibilities of what you could do with today and every day after. Class of 2020, seize this moment in front of you. Bastrop High, all hail. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jordan Raven, and I stand before you today as the Bastrop High School Class of 2020 valedictorian. I would like to first start off by thanking Principal Broussard and the administration, and most importantly, God, for allowing me the opportunity to speak today on behalf of my class. These 4 years of high school have been filled with some great memories, whether it be the Friday night lights watching Allen rush for a touchdown, or watching Jakari get a pick six, or celebrating home victories versus Neville in district play. The fun times have been plentiful. These good times, however, are not just limited to athletics. Most of our memories came directly from the place where we saw each other most, at the school. The pep rallies with DJ Twins, of course, never disappointed. But one thing I will never forget is how quickly strangers became friends and friends became family. I have formed bonds with people that I want to keep for life. While it's always nice to reflect upon the good times, there is more to high school than just laughs and giggles. The highs of life can be quite enjoyable, but the lows are also quite unavoidable. I feel that I must mention two people that we would love to have with us today. The first of these people is Raymario Lee, or Red as we knew him. Red and I actually shared the same birthday, which is October 3rd. Red was lost right before we entered high school as freshmen. The second person I would like to bring mention to is Quaterius Brooks, more commonly known as Black. We lost Black during our junior year when everything seemed to be going so perfectly. While these two young men may not be with us physically on this graduation night, they are forever in the hearts of Bastrop High School class of 2020. The ups and downs that we have experienced do not come without a purpose. I have learned that life always has a way of humbling a person. It is like a system of checks and balances that keeps people grounded, never too high and never too low. This holds true especially in times like this. Right around the time that senior year was about to peak, here comes COVID-19. It started with just 30 days out of school, but it turned into people losing jobs, businesses being shut down, and all large gatherings being prohibited. The last rule directly affects two great milestones that most every senior looks forward to: prom and graduation. Although this was unfortunate, there was nothing that we could do about it. Being amid this pandemic during our senior year introduced us to the real world. Everything will not always go our way, but we must learn to adapt. I can remember the many talks with Coach Odom and the basketball team about having pride and perseverance. Adversity can either make or break a person, and as a class, we refuse to let this situation break us. While I'm on the topic of adversity, I will shift to a common theme that we have faced since entering high school. This theme I'm referring to is change. The first change happened when we became freshmen. This was the year that Bastrop High added 8th grade to the school campus. The change was not received well by us, to say the least, especially since the addition of younger students led to the dress code becoming stricter. The second major change was when we got a new principal in our 10th grade year. Adjusting to new leadership is not always the easiest thing to do. Over these 4 years, every single sports team, except the boys' basketball team, has had either one or multiple coaching and or staffing changes. Many new teachers are also being brought in every year. As with the principal situation, adapting to new leaders is not always a simple task, and they are not always received well. But all of these changes yield in comparison to the biggest change of all. As you may or may not have noticed, I am giving this speech to you on a screen while you're sitting in your car, which is not the typical way that graduations usually work. But as I stated before, adversity can either make or break a person, and this is our way of taking action about adapting to and overcoming the circumstances. As I come to a close, I ask for my classmates to not look at this as a time of tragedy, but a time of triumph. Despite everything that we have been through and are going through as a class, we still did it. Some may say that graduating high school is something that a person is supposed to do, but that does not take away from the fact that our hard work has finally paid off. As we check this milestone off the list and continue with our lives, whether it be entering the workforce immediately, doing a trade, starting a business, or furthering your education, like Principal Broussard always says, the choice is yours. I wish every single one of you the best on your journey. And in the words of Miss Smith, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time at the Bastrop High School. Once again, I would like to say that I am thankful for the opportunity to convey my thoughts and emotions before you guys today. And I would also like to give a special thanks to my parents, my sister, my grandmother, and everyone else who has supported me on my journey. And lastly, to my classmates, I love you guys. We finally made it. God bless and thank you.
Good evening. It is with great pride that I greet you on this momentous occasion. I would like to thank you for your patience and your understanding in these very difficult times. The end of your senior year and high school graduation are milestones in your lives. These are times that will not be soon forgotten. Without a doubt, the senior class of 2020 will forever hold a significant place in history and in my heart. It is my desire for you that you are able to engage the challenges and obstacles that you face at this moment and allow them to strengthen your character and resolve and propel you to greater heights in a rapidly changing world that is in desperate need of leadership. Please join me and my assistant principals for the presentation of diplomas.
Joel Adams, Cartavius Allen, Marquita Allen, Teranisha Anderson, Latreya Armstrong, Deshanae Atkins, Bungie Atkins, Jakenra Atkins, Josiah Bailey, Helena Barker, Dexter Barnes, Erica Barnes, Traver Barnes, Destiny Bass, Detravion Battles, Jandria Rochelle, Taj Blackman, Janquisha Ratshaw, Ayana Bratley, Shakayla Brown, Janari Birch, Zaheen Butcher, Passionate Caldwell, Cedric Carson, Marcel Carson, James Carter, Lazadian Causey, Destiny Cephas, Jaden Coleman, Naeja Hayate Coleman, Naeja Coleman, Jalen Cantrell, Jakari Covington, Jayshawn Craig, Jamisha Craig, Michaela Davenport, Jonathan Davis, Malachi Davis, Tanaya Davis, Brianna Duvall, Tatiana Duvall, Alea Dials, Parkavion Dials, Akela Edmonds, Parmarison Ellington, Breely Elton, Alexandria Evans, Carisha Evans, Cornesia Evans, Anaya Fields, Devontre Fraction, Jaron Freeze, Tashina Gales, Jasminique Gardner, Arante Garrett, Sabrina Garrison, Hunter George, Samarjay Gertman, Janquarius Gibbons, Kylan Gibbons,
Ajir Griggs, Melinda Hamilton, Ja'Cory Hampton, Michael Harden, LaTerrence Harris, Datavion Hawkins, Winston Hawkins, Sierra Hurd, Alexandria Henderson, Inga Henderson, Latasha Henderson, Appreciate Hill, Duntravius Hillard, Tracy Hobbs, Latavia Honeycutt, Savion Hunt, DeAntonique Jackson, Carisi Jackson, Shadiman Jackson, Deron Jenkins, Janaya Jimerson, Kinshawn Jimerson, Carterius Johnson, Jaheim Johnson, Janae Johnson, Jasmine Johnson, Kelsey Johnson, Marticia Johnson, Maticia Johnson, Olarian Johnson, Alasia Jones, Jacoby Jones, Jakara Jones, Kirini Jones, LaKendria Jones, Carlton Keys, Antonia King, Samaj King, Zaria Ladent, Jonathan Lenore, Natalia Leasing, Natasha Lally, Blessant Madison, Briante Martin, Faith Mason, Precious Mathis, Rihanna Mays, Aaliyah McClendon, Kenyatta McClendon, Martavius McClendon, Maxine McDaniel, Maxwell McDaniel, Tydasia Miniweather, Adam Moore Jr., Frederick Moore Jr., Gustavia Moore, Javion Moore, Macassiana Moore,
Tatiana Moore, Jakaya Morgan, Shakayla Morgan, Terrion Morgan, Barrett Morgan Jr., Rodarius Harris, Tamilius Moore, Chandran Murphy, Trinity Norwood, Markel People, Mika People, Memphis People, Jeremy Powell, Jamise Rayburn, Jordan Rayburn, Jalen Robinson, Keontre Robinson, Lakina Robinson, Deanna Romani, Jamayo Ronalds, Demarquez Samuel. David Salisbury Jr. Cassian Sawyer. Chayton Seaman. Jordan Shipman. Kaylon Smith. Ashante Smith. Ajalyn Smith. William Staley. Franklin Tappan. Naomi Taylor. Marlena Towston. Aaliyah Turner. James Waltman. Kenyatta Washington. Laborious Washington. Ledarius Washington. Marcus Washington. Chantrice Washington. Xavier Washington. Jalexia Weeks. Christopher Allen Whitehead. Xavier Whitmore. Jalen Williams. Carisha Williams. Ladarius Williams. Raymond Williams. Rabion Williams. Diana Williams. Tajane Williams. Alexio Willis. Shadiamon Wilson. Denzel Winfield. Michael Winfield. Sydney Winston. D'Angela Woods. Key Yabbitt.
First of all, I'd like to say congratulations on finishing an incredibly hard year. I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you. At this point in time, it's my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure, by the power vested in me by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, Louisiana Department of Education, and Morehouse Parish School Board. At this point in time, I declare you both graduates and alumni of Bastrop High School. May mercy follow you in every step in the future. Thank you.